Welcome back to AM Northwest. Our next guest has been a neuroscience professor at the University of Oregon for 30+ years and a meditator for 40. Now her two worlds have collided, and here to tell us how meditation can actually improve memory and help with ADHD, we welcome the author of Infinite Awareness, Dr. Marjorie Woollacott. Good to see you again.
Yes.
Okay, so this is distracting, so we have to ask you what this is about.
So that is an EEG cap that we use in our laboratory to actually measure the brain potentials of meditators and people who practice Tai Chi, a form of moving meditation, when we're asking the question, does meditation or Tai Chi actually improve our attentional abilities, our ability to really focus in on a subject for a prolonged period of time?
And what did you find out?
So what we found out is that the answer is yes, and we did that by giving them a computer game that is a complex game where they had to respond to lights moving on a computer screen as fast as they could according to constantly changing rules. And the interesting thing is that with that EEG cap over your head, what happens is that we can measure the brain potentials every time that light comes on the computer, and it's twice as large for people who meditate or practice Tai Chi as it is for the control group. And what that says then is that their attentional networks are actually, in effect, twice as strong as those of the control group. In fact, it really does help with the attentional processing in the brain.
I know what Tai Chi is. It's kind of that slow movement, right? But when you talk about meditation, what are you actually talking about? Sitting down, crossing your legs, and being quiet for 10 minutes? I mean, tell me what you're talking about.
So that's one form of meditation, is simply sitting down, closing your eyes, focusing very, very quietly and in a relaxed way on your breath. But you also could do a walking meditation. Some people do that, where they simply walk slowly with their awareness focused absolutely on the present moment, letting the thoughts go and just being present.
And so how can that help us with our memory?
So the first thing is that what it does is it actually changes the structure of our brain so that the circuits in the brain are stronger between our memory areas and, for example, our attentional areas. And with people that have something called mild cognitive impairment, which is what is actually a precursor to Alzheimer's or dementia, what we find is that when people do an 8-week meditation training program, they actually reduce their symptoms of the mild cognitive impairment, and in addition to that, they increase the connectivity between the hippocampus, which is the memory part of the brain, and also the frontal areas, which are the attentional parts of the brain, so that you actually become better in your memory and your focus.
Do you think then that all seniors, anyone over 50, I don't know, should then really start working on the meditation to help with their memory?
I think absolutely. I mean, when you hear that 50% of the people with mild cognitive impairment get Alzheimer's, and a lot of us begin to lose our memory, we all know when we hit our 60s and 70s.
I barely forgot what this morning started like, so I could, but then do you take classes to learn how to meditate?
Definitely. So what you can do is there are classes that are available in the greater Portland area that are on mindfulness meditation, other types of meditation, and I think the classes are one of the better ways of learning it because you typically have a teacher or a guide who is actually showing you the most effective ways to actually begin to put this into your daily life so it sticks and you keep doing it.
Well, and then when we talk about focus, you know, there are so many kids that suffer from ADHD, but how do you get children to focus on meditation?
Oh, and that's a good question. And the beauty in these particular trainings is that they start with things like 5 minutes of meditation.
Okay.
And so it's a very easy thing, and they also give them fun exercises. One is called the raisin exercise, where the child takes the raisin, they feel it, they look at it, they then smell it, they then put it in their mouth and feel the texture, and then finally they take that first bite. And as they're doing this and telling what they're experiencing, they're beginning to focus their mind in one particular direction for a prolonged period of time, and that really helps them.
Let's say someone already has Alzheimer's. Is this something that can reverse the effects or no?
I think that it very well could help them begin to focus if one can help them learn to be able to meditate. I don't think work has been done on people actually with Alzheimer's. It's more people that are on their way toward that with this mild cognitive impairment.
Wow. And Let me ask you what your meditation looks like.
So I get up every morning and I meditate for about 45 minutes.
45 minutes? Seriously?
Well, it's because I enjoy it.
I think I'm going to need to take the children's classes on how to meditate and start with 5 and a raisin.
5 minutes is fine, but I've been doing it 40 years.
Yes.
So you can see it's sort of like the mountain climber on our earlier talk this morning. So what I would say is that I also start with a little hatha yoga and stretching, which helps like prepare my body. And I love just sitting there being present with my breathing. I find that it's very relaxing, and this actually makes me ready for the rest of my day, where I go to the university or I do other activities, because now I'm calm, I'm present, I focused on my breath, and I feel energized.
Can you be present and watch television? Guess not. Well, it was a thought. That's fascinating. The book is called Infinite Awareness. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. This was really interesting.